There are 4 Cowboys that are finalists for NFL Honors Awards. You'll be there in Las Vegas. What were some of your takeaways when you saw that list?
I think it's really weird that Dak Prescott is an MVP candidate, well-deserved. He'll be a top 5 vote getter, obviously.
Yeah.
Maybe more, as he's one of the 5 finalists, as you say. While at the same time, he might be the most bashed MVP candidate
ever.
I'm trying to think of who else is on the list, who is there. Now, some people might say, because Lamar Jackson is the favorite to win it, there might be a movement, an anti-Lamar Jackson movement, I suppose. He will have won 2 MVPs if he gets this done, but hasn't gotten it done in the playoffs. So maybe the same level of criticism that's aimed at Dak might be aimed at Lamar Jackson,
but
I suppose.
But it never really is.
It never ends up being the same, does it? That's a good point. I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's just, but I think we can all accept now that it is part of being a part of life on America's team.
Yep.
That is part and parcel with working in this building.
And then Donovan Bland earning Defensive Player of the Year finalist. That was kind of cool to see as well.
Yeah, now I wonder if, kind of like with McCaffrey and Purdy, who are 2 MVP candidates with the 49ers, I wonder if it's kind of like in student council when we were in high school, and your friends split the votes. So if you're a Cowboy, not a Cowboy homer necessarily as a voter, but if you're somebody that has Cowboys leanings as a voter,
now you have 2 to pick from.
Right, so half of you might pick Bland and half of you might pick Micah, and that would obviously X out those 2 guys. Bland, in terms of being a playmaking corner, here's the beauty of it. It's not just individual accolades, which we've talked to him a little bit. He's not really into that.
No.
It's not his vibe.
He didn't have the goal to end up being the guy who had the most pick sixes this season.
And let alone be a celebrity.
Right.
I don't think the Donovan Bland podcast is coming to Airbuds anytime.
I don't know, maybe. Well, you never know.
You do never know. But for instance, we're going to get a taste of it in Las Vegas, because I think Micah Parsons at NFL Honors, which he's been to every year, he's going to eat it up.
Yeah.
And we've seen him in the past. He shows up and he's wearing a spectacular outfit, and then his little son is wearing the same outfit, and a big gigantic lion gold chain, and that's good.
Right.
I don't think Donovan Bland is going to show up with a fancy, outrageous.
We'll see.
You want to bet?
I think Donovan Bland will be showing up looking like he deserves to be there.
I think Donovan Bland will show up and he'll walk around like this, hoping nobody notices him, and be surprised when a lot of people do.
That's funny. Let's talk about Stefon Diggs, and would he be a good fit here in Dallas? And realistically, what is the likelihood of him coming to Dallas in your mind?
There's 3 problems with it.
Okay.
And one of them is a lingering problem from a year ago when we started talking about this. The salary and the salary cap implications don't make it realistic. They don't make it realistic for Buffalo to say goodbye. They don't make it realistic for Dallas to say hello. That's one issue.
Okay.
Ding. Issue number 2, ding. Did you watch him the second half of the season? Because he didn't do anything. He was not an impactful star level player. Now, Buffalo, the general manager comes out and says he's a star player, he's one of the best in the league, he's still a number 1 receiver. You know what? When you have to come out and hold a press conference to announce that, you're acknowledging there's some slippage. Did he slip because Josh Allen's not good? No, that ain't it. Did he slip because the Bills' offense isn't good? That's not it. Did he slip because the Bills aren't good? That's not it. I don't know what it is. He didn't do the sideline, heart on his sleeve distraction thing as much this year. Diggs didn't. But I think, at some point we all go downhill a little bit.
Yeah.
Some of us at my advanced age, but in football, 30-ish, that might be it. And then there's the third issue with Diggs, in this building. This team as it exists right now, and that locker room as it exists right now, and they don't have to view it as a big issue, and it can be fixed with 3 phone calls, and maybe it already has.
Right.
But the bro, mama drama.
Yeah.
This brother and this uncle and this nephew and this niece and this grandfather all saying what their relative, how he should be treated around here, and he should have this and he should have that, and if you don't like it, we should get Dak out of here and get Lamb. That's not good.
No.
And they talk about a brotherhood. Dak Prescott talked about it every Thursday. Every Thursday and every Sunday, we got a brotherhood. Well, the guys who are their actual brothers, think they have a brotherhood. So I wonder if you had DIGGS and DIGGS,
Yeah.
if you wouldn't be asking for trouble. Not that there's anything wrong with either person, but all of a sudden you would have a clique. All of a sudden you would have a little group. And I've been around here long enough to see the little cliques and little groups. The Tony Romo, Jason Witten, Miles Austin, and then later Murray, that wasn't a good thing for the Cowboys. I've talked about this before. People sometimes say, Fish, why you're not very hard on the Joneses. For 34 years, I'm hard on them when I think it's appropriate.
Yeah.
They used to go on vacation to the Turks and Caicos,
Yeah.
and bring the yacht, and all the Jones family. It was delightful. Grandpa and the lovely Jean and the kids and the grandkids, and they all would dress in all white and pose in a picture. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And then you'd look at the picture and you go, "What's Witten doing there?" Hey, that's Romo. That's a bad way. And again, Jerry Jones knows how to run a business way better than we do. What do we know? We're just a couple of slappies. That seems like a bad way to run a locker room. There's 53 guys in there. You and you get to come to
Right.
Turks and Caicos with us. What does that do to the other 51 guys? And Jason Garrett, friend of the show, but he did some of the same things. Jason Garrett would say, "Hey, I'm going to go see Coach K play Duke versus Kentucky.
Right.
Romo, Witten, Miles Austin, you're coming with me."
Mm-hmm.
What about the other 50 guys?
Jealousy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And it's not on purpose, and you're not trying to create a problem. Just like bro, mama drama, they think they're helping, and they're hurting. So I think having two brothers in the same locker room, especially two guys that are, one of them's a little bit volatile, both of them are quite outspoken. I think you add those things up, and I think they don't add up for Dallas.
Let's talk about defensive coordinator Dan Quinn. What is the latest with DC?
As we speak here in this moment, Ben Johnson, the Lions offensive coordinator,
Yes.
who's done a spectacular job there and was certainly a finalist with the Commanders, has told them no. Now, it's funny to watch the media kind of unfold here. The Washington Post has written very simply that their understanding is that Johnson told Washington and the owner, Josh Harris, and his people, "I want to win a Super Bowl. And we're close in Detroit." And we're not close. We wouldn't be close in Washington. And I don't think that's unfair, right?
Right.
We're close in Detroit. Adam Schefter at ESPN says that the ownership got spooked, is his word, by Ben Johnson's salary requests. That seems like somebody's trying to make an apology for what went wrong. That would be saving face for a new Washington owner, Josh Harris, to basically say the reason they didn't hire him is because he asked too much. That doesn't add up to me.
Yeah.
Josh Harris is trying to separate himself from the Dan Snyder era, where being a cheapskate and not to mention scandalous was an everyday thing.
Right.
And he's not willing to pay for the coach he wants.
Right. That doesn't look good.
And it doesn't sound right.
Yeah.
So with Ben Johnson now saying I'm staying in Detroit, that means Ben Johnson's not going to Washington, and it means Ben Johnson's not going to Seattle, where Dan Quinn is a finalist. So Ben Johnson out means Dan Quinn gets to move up more than a little bit as a candidate for the final two vacancies among NFL coaches on the coaching carousel.
We've seen a lot of moves on the coaching carousel, including former Dallas Cowboys offensive coordinator Kell Moore. He's now headed to Philadelphia, staying in the NFC East after being with the Chargers last season. What do you make of this move?
Well, I'm going to pound this home because I guess this is nonlinear thinking. I'm surprised more people don't think of it the same way. They also hire in Philadelphia Vic Fangio, a all-time great 65-year-old defensive coordinator. So they got the kid, the paper boy, Kell Moore, who's 36, and they got Vic, who's twice his age. Kell Moore is a brilliant guy. He should be an offensive coordinator in the NFL. Of course he should. Vic Fangio, same deal. But why didn't the Chargers keep Kellen? Why didn't the Cowboys keep Kellen? Why did the Dolphins? Some players are like celebrating that Vic Fangio's out of there because one man's trash is another man's. That's part of it. Here's another thing. There's a discussion item here. Well, the reason the Eagles did this is because those guys are Cowboy beaters. Vic Fangio does a great job game planning against the Cowboys historically. That much is true.